so I've already done it, so I'm going to spend a lot more time going through how I would cut the top, okay? Now, when we were coming here, Al said that it would be good if we would do a crop, because crop top haircuts are something that people seem to have quite a little bit of interest in. So, I'm going to go through how I would section or choose to section and build weight into a crop style, okay? So, I'm going to start by sectioning everything off into the pattern that I would use, and at any point, I don't just want you to sit there. You can come right up here and get involved. It's far too formal if you just all sit there, okay?
When Paul starts sectioning, Paul starts breaking down the hair into panels, you're not going to see it sitting down. Nobody's going to see any part.
I just want to say one thing though, like, I could, the taper isn't too bad, but I really screwed the other side. Well, Ant really screwed the other side of my taper up, right? So don't look at this side. In fact, I was going to do the whole haircut this way, because this one's okay. He tricked me with a set of caliber clippers that I'd never used before, and they were a lot shorter than the magic clips that I was using, and I put a big line in it and I can't get it back out. So we'll just ignore this side, alright?
I hate when that happens.
Just look at it in the mirror.
You know, yeah, don't look at it in the mirror. It looks worse in the mirror. In fact, don't. I'll just turn it back around this way, okay? So.
Are you using the wider teeth of the comb to kind of separate the hair?
Yeah, right, so. Does this go down any further, or is this?
That's as far as it goes. Slide your butt down.
Just
there
too big. This is how we build them in Scotland, this size. Josh and me are kind of like, yeah, we're not.
We're what's left after they've made Greg.
After they've made
everything they've got is left.
That's us. Yeah. Strapping gentlemen. Okay, so my focus is. Can I just talk about this just now and then? Yeah. Okay. So my focus is going to be on slightly retaining the crown and not removing the crown. That's maybe where we're going to be slightly different, okay? Now, when I'm going to do a customer, what I'm doing first of all, is I'm assessing the head shape, okay? Now, Gregor has two flat spots right here, okay? His head is flat in this area. What I want to do is build a square shape, so I'm filling out this flat spot. If I cut his hair too round, at the apex area it's going to be too high, okay? His head will be raised at the top and it will be flat through the sides, okay? So what I want to do is I want to build weight through these corners to fill the shape out. So I'm going to bring the top down, I'm going to build weight at the sides, which I'm going to connect to my blend. Right now, I would never, ever clipper the side of somebody's head before I cut the top. I know I've done it here and I'm being very contradictory. Normally, I would cut the entire top shape in, and then I would clipper the sides to connect to the shape that I've cut at the top. Now, I usually say that if that seems strange to you, as it does to many barbers, because we're used to focusing so heavily on clipper work, that if you were going to cut his hair and you were taking a 3 over the top and you were going to fade the sides into the top, you would do the 3 first. Logically, it gives you something to blend to. And it's the same when you cut. You should cut and establish the shape and then fade to the shape, not the other way around. Now, my theory on this, it may not be correct, is that nobody's head, unless they're really beautiful, and Gregor isn't, nobody's head is completely symmetrical on both sides. If you run the clipper up this side, it may come off the head higher than it does at this side. So if you then start cutting the top from your guide point and it's different on both sides, you've already got imbalance. It's already irregular, okay? So I would account for the shape of the head with my scissor work, shear work, scissor work, whatever you want to call it. And then I would connect the fade to the length on the top. Okay? So I'm going to start sectioning this off now, which I'll go through thoroughly with you. And I'll let Ant tell you what he's going to do to Caesar.
So this is Caesar. I am Caesar. Supreme Barber Surprise, my model today. And he helped sponsor this
He's
class,
one of our
so
sponsors, guys.
really appreciate him. I'm gonna,
Thank you,
since
Caesar.
I already did a fade, I'm gonna show you how to taper out like his model is. So I'm gonna show you the
But
fade.
better. But better. And you're not going to fuck it up like I did on that side.
And then when it gets to the top, I'm actually going to have my wife demonstrate some shear work. It won't be as in-depth as Rum's, but it'll definitely be something that'll help you move quickly in a barbershop setting and efficiently. So it'll be super dope. So that's what I'm going to do on him. And then I'll probably do some beard work. I'll taper his beard the same way I taper the sides. I need a...
Okay, there's right there in your drawer. Open your door.
Number 38. And something that I think is really important is your machines working into the next machine. So what I mean by that is when I follow up with a clipper right now for my clipper blends directly into this trimmer line. If I were to set this line in with this Babyliss, this cuts a lot closer and I'm gonna struggle removing that line. So I'm using my tools wisely by allowing them to work one into another to skip any unnecessary work. So I'm gonna set my guideline in with this. I'm gonna give them a taper and I'm gonna give them like a mid to high taper. So my first guideline I'm gonna create is my bulb guide.
How do you establish your first line?
You mean as far as where to place it?
Yeah.
So if I were to give him a low taper, I would have rainbow shaped it right here and kept it very low. Because I want to give him a mid to high, I'm going to take it directly here to his point. And that's what I always use for a mid to high, is I always reference this point. Wherever it is, that's where I like to take it to.
So that's the way you like to do it?
Yeah, unless I'm giving them a low taper, then I'll give them a rainbow-like shape right here and just do the same exact thing, just lower.
Alright. What about squaring it off and then fading that out?
Squaring it off.
Yeah, like giving him a sideburn and then after that then fading the sideburn.
You know, if during the consultation, because consultation is extremely important, that's definitely something you'd want to go through with your client. So I would ask them, do you want to keep the C cup here predominantly dark? How do you want your taper to go? How low, how mid, how high? He gave me free range, so I'm just gonna do what I feel would look best on him. But during the consultation, that's where I would ask him, do you want your C cup dark? Do you want a low? Do you want a mid? Do you want a high? Some people like tapers to start off directly like this and fade up. I personally like to set in my guides like this and give the effect this way.
What I'm going to do is I have sectioned the hair from the front recession back through the crown. I've allowed the hair to lie, watch yourself out, in its natural fall, okay? So I maneuver the hair and I let it fall the way it wants to and I go with it. There is no point in manipulating the hair to lie the way it doesn't want to go, because if you do, there's a chance that it will just end up sticking up, okay? So if the hair is already lying the way that it's going to go, it's going to help us establish the shape a little bit better. Now, the key is to establish the length of the crown, right? The crown area is better cut. Sorry, Alan's going a little bit. Okay. So the crown area, if you obviously cut the crown too short, it is going to stick up, okay? So at this length here, I can establish that I can take a fraction off it, but any more than that, the crown's already starting to have movement. So I'm relatively happy with where the crown length is. Because I leave the crown length longer doesn't mean to say that the whole top has to be longer. I can cut the front, which I'm going to do, pretty short, okay? It all depends on where I create my angle, okay? So if I'm retaining the length on the crown, I can cut down at any angle I want and reduce weight and length through the front section, okay? The same, sorry Al.
Oh, you're good.
The other thing that's going to allow us to do is we want to try and retain as much length and weight through this area as possible, okay? So we're going to use what we call square graduation. Square graduation is when we pull the hair out from the head at 90 degrees and cut a line parallel to the head, okay? The square graduation is going to allow us to retain, if you imagine that that point there is cut, every bit of hair that subsequently goes over to my crown, my comb, sorry, is going to be longer and longer and longer, resulting in a square shape, okay? As I said, Gregor's head's quite flat round here. So what we really want to do is fill in that shape there. Just going to turn you around. We want to fill in that shape there, okay? My fingers are already showing you the shape of the graduation. Flat off the head, 90 degrees. Okay? Does everybody get that? Yeah? Okay. So, there's two ways in which I can
The lever fully open, now to the one fully open. I'm going to create my next guide. Up right here, and I'm going to go right up to right underneath where I just left off with the lever fully open, because that's going to help me transition into my next guide. So now I'm just looking to clean that up. So now I'm going to come in with the one closed and go right up to where I just left off.
Where the hair naturally falls. Okay? I'm not here.
So typically the one closed tends to leave weight behind. I'm going to show you how to remove that right now in the next step.
Like I'm watching a YouTube tutorial, man.
So now that I came in and cleaned that up,
The crown's too short? Yeah. Okay, so if the
now
crown
I'm
is too short,
going to come in with my half guard,
right?
the lever fully open,
I'm going to have to
and I'm going to begin to attack right above the weight that I see. So right above the weight that I see, I'm going to come in and start cleaning it up.
Too short.
That half guard on here with the lever fully open, it's almost equivalent to that one close. So I'm not creating anything by going right above it. And I'm only going right above it just to see the reaction that my half guard has on it. So now I know it's not removing it, but it's softening it. So now I'll close my lever and I'll begin to fade down. Meaning I'm going to close my lever as needed, working my way down until that guide's blended out. So I'm going to come in and I see it starting to take it away.
I can get it longer. The longer I get it, the flatter it'll be. The problem I think comes from worrying about how short you want this front section to be. So people think if this is to be really short, the crown has
So
to be
once
really
I run
short.
through
And that's where we're
my guard system, I already see here needs cleaned up, right here a little, but I'm gonna just keep pushing through my guard work because you could get through the guard work quickly.
Okay.
So I'll knock it out, bam, knock it out, and then I'll spend time detailing it and coming through and just really polishing it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So my first section.
So I'm gonna go from that 1 to the 1.5, fully open, and this is the highest guard I use. I don't use any guards above that. For anything above this, I do clipper over comb or shear work. I don't run like 2s or 3s.
Here.
So I'm gonna want to retain a box shape on his head.
So, like if it was a fade, you just go with the right?
Yeah.
All right.
And so
in my
I'm gonna want to
finger,
retain a box
I'm
shape,
gonna
meaning
keep-
I don't want it to round off
And my
right here
finger
because it
here
won't
is
look
as
right
tight to the head as I can
on this
possibly get
particular
it.
cut style that
And
we're gonna
that's
give
my
them.
angle
So
I'm
we
gonna
want to
cut.
retain that box shape
And
like
that's
this.
the graduation.
So I don't
want
want to take anything away from that.
The same as I showed you earlier.
However,
with the
I do
comb.
want to clean this up,
Retaining
right?
the
This
length
little bit
here,
of weight we see
cutting
right here.
down through
And then I'm going to
into
start
here.
removing this and bring everything in together. So I'm just going to come in with my lever fully open, and this time I'm going to scoop out. And again, I'm not looking to really take much off, so I'm not going to go I'm
So,
not gonna
I ran
attack
up
anything
here with a
above this
3.
parietal ridge.
That's the longest clipper guard with a 3. Okay.
So I'm just gonna come in.
My fingers are kind of.
I always keep my clipper to the head.
Okay, so as I work.
So once I clean
front,
it up
start
in a
from
guide-like
front,
section,
this-
just like I
this
did
is
with
what
the
we
other
class
ones,
with the forward
I'll then
diagonal
close my lever
section.
and I'll blend
Okay,
from the bottom
so
of that
the
right back to where I
graduation
just
is gonna
left
be
off
slightly
underneath that.
higher, it's going to remove more weight. As I work forward, my
So I don't
finger
cut
is
it
going to end up being horizontal.
Mike Tyson and
okay?
Bill Clipper.
So that is going to build the most weight towards the front here. So I'm going to start like this. I'm going to move to this, and then I'm going to move to this. Okay.
Is that because the hair should all be heading towards?
I lied, I'm about to use the number 2 guard.
So
Why?
I'm gonna use the number 2 guard and I'm gonna clean up all the way to that parietal ridge and I'll
Okay.
flick out
So
towards the top of
here,
it
because
and then
the
shear
crown is
work will start to
higher
bring
than
this in.
point
So
here,
once
that's why I'm
that's
starting
already
like this,
set, then I'll start
to
on
this,
the neck taper.
to this. Yeah, because if I
So there's a
If I
few ways to
went
do
in
tapers.
here
If
like
I
this,
set it in
it would be
like
too
this,
short and through the
what's
recession.
gonna happen is
And
I'm leaving this
wanting
darker to
retain
pop for a
the
lineup,
length here,
right?
so I can do
But I'm
some-
giving them a mid to high, so I want everything to stay
makes sense.
fairly consistent. So I'm gonna find a spot where I feel like, say it's right
exactly.
here.
You're wanting to give yourself something to work into. However,
And you can see that's not a lot of room there, but I'm gonna stretch this in. Instead of setting them this way, like this, I would turn them over and I would cut right up to where you wanted it. And that'll leave that very soft and easy to blend into. Because if I use that Babyliss and came in like this, it would leave a line. I mean, I would know how to remove it, but now I gotta remove it, you know?
What size of scissors are you using to cut it?
5.5 inches. Not real barber scissors.
Yeah, it's just easier to
Because I feel you get more control for more precision work with a
So
shorter
that's why
shear.
I use this
I
instead
do
of that Babyliss. 'Cause you
a
see,
scissor over comb,
it doesn't cut
texturizing
as
with a
close,
7 inch,
you know?
and I do all my cutting with a 5 inch or 5.5.
Finish off with like the shorter one.
5 inch.
yeah. So like I do like all my
Okay, so my second section is slightly more horizontal, and my final section is going to be completely
So once I
horizontal.
create that bulb guideline, then I start to blend it out, and when I get towards the top again, I'll flick out, right? Because again, I want to demonstrate a smooth transition, so from completely bald to stubble.
Why would you
Because
turn your
this stubble
scissors
is
around
gonna
that
help
big
that
cut when
blend
you're
part.
cutting the horizontal?
It's far
So
easier
when
and
you
less
see me get
strain
towards
in
the
the
top
wrist.
of it, you see that I
That
start to
is
really
really
off on the
uncomfortable.
skin.
Can you show us how you hold it? So it's the thumb out and
Yeah.
finger wrapped around
I'm
this
still
one?
slightly nervous and my hand's shaking.
Yeah.
It's going. It's
Takes-
better than it was.
It takes a few minutes to go away.
Yeah, no, I thought if I talked really talked in depth for about 10 minutes and my nerves would go, but
Yeah.
it's not bad though.
Not bad.
It's bad. It was worse when I used
Or
to
even
drink.
if you want
Oh,
to.
I
You're like,
Okay,
I get what he's
So,
saying, but it's not.
we've
popping like
created
he said. Well, it's
this
because
weight
there's
here,
still weight
okay?
there, so I'll
You
just
can see
dab
that
down and dabbing
because I
down
started like this,
We'll
that's why
remove-
it's risen here slightly. Okay.
You see how it just lightly removed it, so it's allowing that transition from that ball to that stubble. Or if you ever get stuck and for some reason this isn't taking it down, you could always remove whatever you create with the tool you created it with.
I feel like I'm watching two videos at one time. Run
I
barber
know.
and fucking answer barber.
like a house.
He's a lot more entertaining than I am.
No, you're good. We're this
I'm just a bit dry.
And it'll
Sorry, guys.
Knowledge on both sides. for
prop
sure.
top.
Don't want to break anybody's ankles.
You ever like start your taper? I noticed you put
Yes, for control. Down.
That's what I mean about my tools working into the next one. So it's just easy for me to do, you know? So once I remove
Again,
that ball guideline
halfway
and I move
through
it up
that.
a little bit, I'll lever open a little. That's
Why are
one
you
thing
coming
that's
down
dope
into that
about
other
the
section?
slippers is it has this notch system that basically
Don't you give me any trick questions. Show me up in front of everyone. Okay.
Down in that direction.
So if I comb down, I'm building weight from the top down the way.
This is
And if I comb
a,
up and under,
caliber
I'm
357.
reducing weight. Okay?
Okay.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
No, that's a 50 year. I have that over here. So then
It makes sense too. if you
Yeah, it
think
does.
about it.
Yeah, if you go from the bottom,
It's
you're,
taking completely
you're
straight up.
reducing. If you go from the top, you're creating.
So it's crown
Okay,
killers, you know?
so-
I don't know.
Yeah.
make sure everything's straight for the next.
When I finish this bit, I'm going to explain that a little bit more
I
thoroughly.
struggle with when it comes
That's a
to
good point,
tapering
Josh.
in the back.
This is almost as if somebody paid you to say that
It's
question.
almost as if me and you have met before.
It almost is.
And then they lean
So,
back, now you got
Sounds like you had a
1 line.
conversation before.
Do we all understand the angles of graduation?
So
90
if I know I
degrees,
cleaned up this
45
area with
degrees,
the one,
0 degrees. Okay?
and it looked cleanly.
90 degrees will give you less graduation than 45 degrees, depending on how much weight you want to build on this corner. Okay? The further down your fingers go, the more weight you will build. When you come down, you're going to build more weight. When you come up, you're more naturally sitting at 90 degrees, so you're removing, or what I would call beveling the corner. Okay? Back home, we use a lot of weight lines, right? Which you don't really seem to see as much here. We create weight lines, right? People like it.
What I do is
Not so much
do
here,
the-
but
the
they
work
like
with
it.
the head straight like this.
Okay, so if you're trying to establish and create a weight line, you're probably more likely that you're coming down because you're going more towards
He
45
doesn't have a
degrees.
bunch of rolls,
When you
but if
come
he did,
up,
then I would be like,
you're
hey,
naturally
bro,
going more towards
and I would
90
have him lean
degrees.
down.
Okay, so it's just really
I would
the
have him
corner
lean
of
down.
elevation.
But he doesn't.
If
And so
the
now-
corner is
now that
brought
I'm
in
done
at
with
90
that guy, now I'm
degrees,
gonna create
because
the
it's
next
lifted,
guy.
it's
Now
going to
I'm
be
gonna go
slightly
from the
more
half to the
curved.
one, fully
If it's
open,
down
like I
at
did over
45
here.
degrees, it's
But
going to be more
once
like
I
the
get
corner
towards
of
this
a
area,
roof.
kind of like that
Okay?
bridal ridge area here, back here, I'm gonna want to retain this shape here. So when I set my guide, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
And you
when
always
I'm
make
gonna
sure the
come
hair's
out.
nice and soaked? Or
All
you
the
want-
time. Right. Now, normally what I would do is I would use some
Like
form
under
of
it,
cutting agent.
if
I
that
would use
makes
some
sense.
form of like hydrating
So I do
cream,
wanna give
leave-in
myself the same
conditioner,
amount of
like
space
something
so I
like
can
that.
conditioner in the
It
water,
stops
right?
the hair drying out because
I
we
wanna
take
keep
so
everything
long.
consistent, but I also want to
We're not
retain
fast
the
with
shape
that.
right here. This
How much of conditioning
a clean too, and all of a sudden.
I would use a really light leave-in conditioner. Like
So
something
I'll
really
just
like
come
something
through
I
and
can
I'll
wear,
make sure.
something I can
But I clean everything. Here's the areas that you're talking about right
How long
now.
would this take
We're
you?
actually on one.
to do a
I was
haircut.
gonna ask that same question.
I was waiting for it. I thought I'd have got it
The
quicker.
appointment time or how long it really takes, Paul?
Right, the appointment time is 40 minutes, okay? How long it
Flicking
takes
out
me?
to keep it soft up here.
Hour.
minutes.
You see me
40
making
minutes.
mine.
Hour.
Now
It
it's like over
depends.
there. Now I'm gonna close
So
my
I see-
lever and I'm gonna.
So are you a
place the
walk-in
bottom
shop
of
or
this
a-
guy
No appointments.
right back
Appointments
to
are
the
only-
top.
How long do you give yourself?
So
40
I just
minutes.
let
40
it
minutes?
off.
Yeah.
So I'm going
Okay.
right underneath.
Right, so
So that lever fully open is just to literally help.
I've not altered at all, okay? And I'm going to work now
Literally
into the
this
back,
system I'm showing you,
okay?
you can apply it to any haircut. If we set the bald guideline right here and we're doing a mid fade.
So again, we're gonna use our
lever open,
shape
no
of the
guard,
head.
into a one guard, into a one.
If you imagine this weight line that
It
runs
doesn't
right
change.
round the head, we're
It
going
don't
to
matter
follow
if
it.
it's black,
Okay.
Asian, the step work is always the same.
So we're running from this
And it's
point here,
simple.
heading towards the center back of the head.
It's really easy and effective to use, and it's something you could trust, and it's something you could put your own twist on once you're comfortable with.
What's the most common
And make it
haircut you
work
guys
better
get?
for you, you know? So now I'm gonna
To
close
be
that
honest,
lever,
we do a
and I'm
lot
gonna-
of variety.
Oh, I already did close the lever.
You know,
I just opened
we
it.
can go through days where
But typically
I
that
don't
one
really fade
close
anybody's hair at all.
tends to
Oh,
leave white
wow, that's
behind.
crazy.
Remember I told you about that up there?
You know,
So then
we
I'll come
do-
in with that half guard again,
We do
with the
so
lever
many
fully
different
open,
things.
and I'll be able to clean it up.
We were actually talking about
Right
it
here,
last
I'm gonna use
night
the
where
corners a lot,
you could
getting
do
towards
a
the top,
fade,
but I wanna clean
then you
that
could have a
fade out.
mid-length cut,
So I'm
longer
just gonna
hair,
dig in a little
you know,
bit.
so shorter, messier textured hair. We do a lot of longer hair. We do probably more longer
And
hair
instead of
than
spending a whole
faded.
bunch of
Yeah,
time
a lot more
trying to
So
make it
that's
perfect right
easy.
now, I'm just gonna
60,
work
40,
through my fade
maybe even 70-30
with the
split
step
on
work, like I said.
From
Length.
long hair to short hair to fades. Fades are very little over
maybe
there.
two fades a day, maybe.
Two?
Oh wow.
If that.
And I'll begin to
So the
attack
weight we're
right
creating
above
is
the
running
first.
round like this. You can see the line that we're creating. Now,
And
I
I'll
didn't
pay
take this
attention to
right
that
up
right
with the
now.
clippers
I'm really
earlier. I
paying
stopped it a
attention
little
to
bit
see
shorter
what
so I can show you.
what that takes off, because that'll help me
I've got my line that I'm connecting to. You can see where the target is.
understand
You
what
can
it's
see where
gonna
the
take to
target
remove
is.
that line.
Right, so that's why I was saying about fading into that line.
You start off with the half guard, okay.
because you know the size.
Yeah.
And if
Back home when they get a
Went out to say I went just a little too high, I would just lever open and go right above that. Because again, that half is almost, that half open is similar to that one with these
you're going to
clippers.
be wanting to retain at least length on top, and it's creating that top.
I am Caesar right here.
What's up, guys? What's up, y'all?
Yeah, sorry.
Big Al's channel. I'm Barber, Braun Barber, all in one spot, man.
So now I'm going to jump to that half guard,
Sick collab.
lever fully open. And so right here, I'm really going to focus on that flick out. So I want to keep his taper to about here, and then allow that darkness to transition into it. So I'm going to, and this one fully open, all it really is doing is it's stretching the blend of that one. You can see right now it's starting to happen. It's allowing that one to look a little more blurrier. Like it wasn't looking, you're like, oh, I see what he's saying. But now, like, now the blend will start to come together. And on any fade, it goes from that ball to a one open. That's where the magic happens. That's where you show your blend off, you stretch it, you make it, you know what I mean? So now I'm just stretching that one a little.
I'm over directing down now to build weight towards the crown. That's the area I want to keep. Okay, again, like we were saying earlier, coming down.
And he does have a slight roll right there, and then right here you can see the hair kind of. So anytime like the hair rolls a different angle, just come at it differently. Scoop this way, scoop this way. Because you want to make sure to get everything clean and even the first time, so you're not having to come clean up a bunch of shit. So once I clean it up like that, now I'm going to close the lever again. So this
I did a
is,
really lazy job of clipping. Like I should have clippered that a little bit
this is
higher.
where I've stopped the taper now, and then I've jumped to this side, get on the taper.
It's good to me.
Because I'm going to
Even your backside looks good.
That length.
Like you said, it's a bad side. It's pretty good to me.
looks like you painted it on.
Now on this stuff, this should come right here, and I'll begin the shape up. Because once I start to line this up, now the blemishes will begin to pop over here, and it'll help me see better.
But I started out.
I don't know. You ever do a haircut? You think it's lined?
Okay.
Like the gold coming off? Like the gold, yeah, the gold coming off.
Oh no.
No?
So, and I'm only gonna go to right there because I'm not gonna go all the way around, because I'm gonna take that too and take some weight down right here. And I know I said I don't use the guards. Pass those shears off.
You're doing that to me all the time.
Step around and get on. They're gonna be bald.
So you're gonna want to, just so like as you do it, go ahead and bring it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every haircut has its merits somewhere. You know, it's up to you to find it.
Every haircut is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Every haircut is a challenge. I swear, I see it.
Very much so. It doesn't necessarily mean to say because it's just. I mean, we probably do about 2 exciting haircuts a week.
Yeah.
Really? If that. You know,
Transformations? Yeah,
they're
those
the
are my
ones
favorites.
They're the ones you take pictures of. The 2 you get. Majority of the time, we're doing like pretty ordinary standard
Back and
haircuts.
sides.
You know,
Back and sides.
Yeah, but the challenge is really to find, for me, the problem that the customer has with their hair and fix it. Because when somebody says something to you that they just assume is, they don't have the technical knowledge that you have, so they just say, my hair's going to be like that, and you go, no, it doesn't have to be like that. I want to grow my hair, but nobody's ever been able to do it for me. I can do it for you. I'll help you do it. That's you giving them something that nobody else has done, because you've taken that little bit of time to treat them like an individual and solve the issue for them, you know? And it's important to ask, first of all, well, I do anyway, what do you not like about your hair? That way they'll then tell you something that you can hone in on.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Never really start with what do you want, because people will either just assume they're going to get what they've always got, or if you ask them, have you got any problems with your hair? Is there anything you don't like about your hair? Oh, I really don't like the way my crown sticks up all the time.
Don't cut it off there.
Exactly, I really don't like the way that my fringe area sits off to the side. It's always been cut too short. Nobody's ever thought to leave it a bit heavier to bring it down, you know. It's really just finding out what their needs are and adapting your service to fit their needs, you know? And that makes the haircut exciting. You know, if you find something that you can fix, you know, it doesn't have to be a wonderful haircut. Myself something to connect to, something to work towards, you know. As I say, my fingers are about 3 guards, so I kind of know that's where I'm heading towards, you know.
Will you always start with the sides?
Yeah, because, well, not necessarily. It really depends on the kind of style I'm trying to create. If I was disconnecting the top, or I was doing something kind of pompadour-ish, you know, I could start by establishing the top length first, so I know where I'm going, then I would isolate it out the way, then work to the sides. But I would predominantly start these kind of shapes on the side. So, now I'm going to go into the top. And I'm going to start with a central profile section. It's a section that runs right down the middle of the head. And I'm going to cut the hair forward, just because it's going to lie forward. If I wanted it to sit to the side, I might change my pattern, work horizontally, but because I want the hair to sit forward, I'm going to cut it forward.
I would give the same amount of space that you just gave yourself with this guy. I can see how much it is right there.
His taper's already looking better than mine. Stop it. Why did I have to go with you?
What a show off, huh?
I know, what a show off.
This is this guy. I'm just learning from him, actually.
Never stop learning, huh?
Never.
So yeah, so I just gave him the same amount of space. But I just gave him the
Where you start this
I noticed immediately that this side blends a lot easier than the other side. You guys see that?
Okay.
So that other side was a tremor side. I
So,
taught on this side and let
finger width from the crown right down to the front.
It's like
now,
a lot, because you'll start on the client. Oh, you're gonna want to close it, even though it looks blended. Huh? I would still close it. I don't know. Some people you could skip steps, and I would say that's the time you can skip it, because it does look.
okay. Sorry? I'm supporting my here. Yeah.
So now right here.
Yes.
Open.
Sorry.
You're gonna want to make sure not to go over. You see it right
So,
at the front, right? So you're just gonna want to flick out and then.
There's the length of the crown. Here. And I can take any length I want. I'm not going through anything specific here, but that's still retaining exactly the same crown length that we started with, right? It's still going to lie. No matter what I do, that's not sticking up.
Can you explain how you can maintain both sides the same? Because I know
When you do the top of the head, how many sections?
I find a reference point.
How many sections I take from here to there? Really depending on the size of the head. But every section tends to be the size of my finger.
So a finger?
Finger width.
Okay.
Okay? Because
So wherever the
I could really do my board for this, but the more that you pull hair into the middle, the more you're over directing it.
But if it's just off,
Okay, so if you grab a really wide section of hair and you pull it in, the center part
It's going to be higher.
shorter and the two sides are longer. So when they come back out, you end up with a concave. And the more you do that through the
he's not
top,
going to get one. You can see he doesn't have the strongest lines.
okay,
So like you
a
have
finger
to really
length
baseline it.
is quite hard
So
to
what I
create
would
a
do
concave
on
in.
yours
It's enough
is
hair
I would look
to be able
into
to
your
cut
head
it.
and I would
So when it
find
opens out,
where
it's
the
still
highest
relatively
reference
straight.
point is. If it's
Okay.
on the right side, in your case, it's going to be right here. You guys see it? That's going to be his high point. So when I start in the middle, I'm going to match that high point immediately. Just work my way across.
Are you following the shape of the head?
At the minute, I'm following the shape of the head, which I will do till this part of the round of the head. Here, I can either decide if I want to keep the front area longer,
Again, I just
or go
I
with
find a
it
reference
and
point.
cut it shorter.
Right here, he's not going to have very strong arches, but what I would do is I would start
Definitely got to
here.
learn something different.
And I would
I've never
shape
taken
this
it shorter in the front. It's always longer in the
And I
front
would
and
do the
shorter in
same
the back.
thing.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if we were going to do something a bit more like
Backwards,
this,
yeah.
I would keep it where it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now,
Okay, this needs to come.
This is over direction.
Just go from there.
Okay.
I got a question real quick.
Okay,
So the
go.
crop on the crop, so the crop technically is longer in the back and shorter in the front.
It can be if the crown's problematic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Josh,
right
come here.
here is where we skip. So yeah, so I would
No matter
just-
what you do with Josh's hair, his crown stays down. So you can cut his hair. This wasn't.
Shorter
Yeah, you can cut his hair really short on the
on
crown.
the back.
The whole thing can follow his head shape.
Right.
And still lie down.
Okay.
Gregor, if you cut that too short, that's just going to stick
Straight up. So it
it's
depends on the
not-
person
It's not the shape, it's the person
and the way the hair lays.
and the where the hair lays.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So,
what
yes.
Josh has is the crop top also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty much.
but with the lineup, he gets the lineup in the front.
It's because he doesn't like his fringe. So he's
Yeah.
cutting it.
So I get my hair like slightly undercut
Okay.
on top. So normally we either like skip a 2 guard into it, which
Yeah.
is what we've done last time, or you do what Paul's doing just now with Greg,
See that guy?
and he's going to go with the shape of the head at the front, and he's going to
Sock
round that, so you can almost be flat, finger flat to the head at the front,
Fade down.
and then that
I
way
saw
you're
that
going to
the half
take
guard
really a
did
lot of
it,
hair off
right?
if you're taking that
So I'm
side.
gonna
Oh.
jump to the one right
Pull
below
that down.
so
That's
right
normally what I
below
get.
that.
I normally get Paul to go flat to the head at the front with the fingers,
So it's just gonna
cut as
work
much
out.
of that off, and then he'll probably either punch it in with some slim lines or something like that, and then
Or
he'll
cut it all
cut it
off,
all
like-
off with some scissors, and then he'll just kind of break it up slightly. You know, maybe put
And when you wear it, do you just mess it up in the front?
yeah, honestly, bro, I just put a little bit of powder on it, like that, and then I'm good to go.
Okay.
Because all the hair that we've cut up here, nothing's going to fall
Forward.
forward.
Yeah.
We don't have anything. Everything's built to come to that one stationary point at the front.
Take it out.
So it can't ever hang down further than that.
So, let me just show you this real quick.
So now,
When you pull hair back to retain length at the front and your fingers are horizontal, you're building weight and length towards the front. Or you're building more weight. Okay? When you go this way, profile, and you extend your fingers out, you keep the same length, but you're removing
now
more
that
weight.
the step work's done,
Okay.
now I'm gonna start spraying.
So if I wanted the front to be longer but thinner,
So I'm gonna
I
take
would
that
cut
tube
it profile. If I wanted it to be longer but heavier, I would over direct back horizontally. Okay?
Kind of
Basically,
like what you do with the comb.
yeah. Basically because you are cutting through the weight but retaining the length. This way you're bringing the weight and the length back. Okay? So if I brought, say, all his hair back here like this and cut it, it would be heavy and long. If I cut it this way, the way I'm going just now, and say I decided I wanted it to be that long, that's the same length that it would be if I over directed it back, but I'm cutting more weight off of it. Okay? So it really depends on whether you want to reduce bulk and keep the length, or keep the bulk and the length. Okay?
So once I clean it up with a lever open,
So what kind of haircuts would you
Where I see
horizontally to keep? Use horizontal cutting to maintain length and bulk. What kind of styles would you be cutting if you were
Okay.
doing that?
I'll always
So-
go down to the guard right below it, lever open first, and then straighten it.
Let me think. I would probably do it if I had somebody with, what'd you call them at the front if it doesn't sit nicely?
Window speed. Cowslick.
Right. If somebody had something like that and I wanted to retain more weight in the front so it would flatten it. If you had a really problematic calyx in the front and I wanted it to sit with more control, I would do it horizontally because there'd be more weight in it and it would keep it in control. If he had that same issue and I cut it profile, there'd be not enough weight there to control
So like
it.
right here too.
So I would use it for that kind of thing.
I still see the weight right here. You know, so that would all be something that you can learn from it. So right here too, you can still see it a little bit. But that's
The first section I took, and I'm taking another section finger width apart, including some new hair. Okay? Watch your legs. Don't want to hurt anyone. Okay? So you can see that I have some of my original hair as a guide. I'm still retaining my crown length.
when you're cutting at the end, you go back and cross-check it?
I will, yeah.
So right now I'm just starting to pick up his lineup.
I'll cross-check it
As the crispier it
horizontally.
gets, the more blemishes will
You always
pop out.
cross-check the opposite to the
Right,
way
right, see it and then come back in. I'll start to clean up his.
It does seem like this kind of thing takes a long time, but I wouldn't be talking and stuff. I'd still take a long time.
I think it takes longer. I think on my haircut,
So
I
now
definitely
that
use.
everything's ready for the
If my haircut's 40 minutes, I definitely spend 25
that'll be the
cutting the
lowest
top.
that this haircut will be, and then everything else.
and probably the other 15
Now
cutting
we're
the
gonna
sides.
fade the beard the same way.
How much do you spend on the sides, you said?
About 15.
15?
15 or 20, yeah. If
So you
it's a
spend more
40
time on the top than you do the
If
sides.
it's a 40-minute appointment, I'm going to probably use
And I'm gonna
25 of
find
that
the
to cut the top.
reference point.
You know,
So
in between a
me
client
personally,
consultation,
I like to use
finding
this
out what they want, what they,
It's gonna take
you know,
me
what they
there,
like, what they
it's
don't
gonna
like,
allow me to blend from there to
and then
there.
sectioning off
To
that
go
here to then
from
cut it,
open to close
and then
up
using
to
the approach that Paul's
complement
using
the
just now,
shape.
and
So
taking
I'm
the
gonna
time
use
to do
there,
that.
so I'm gonna
You're
come
probably
right in,
about
immediately
25 minutes.
go
You know,
there.
but the good thing
And
about
you
doing
can
that
see, now that I cut that, there's
is
not
that the
very
reason
much
that Paul's been able to
area.
cut that
So
into
the
the
blend
sides
in this area is
and
not
almost
gonna
have that
pop
guide
as
to
much
clipper
as
up
it
to,
does here.
you then know
But
that
I'm
when you
still
do
gonna
start
follow
clippering
the
up,
same steps
you can
and
come
cut the
straight up
same
to that.
way.
You know, you're not having to kind of guess where you're going. It's not a case of just looking at the side of someone's head and clipping up and going, that looks about right.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got a definitive place to come to. So it should take seconds, you know, whether it's going to be a fade or whether it's going to be like a 2 or a 3 on the sides.
To speed up that cut.
If you're running a 3 up that, you've already got a perimeter line to come up to.
But if it
That'll
were there,
take
you'd
10
like-
seconds to put that 3 in. You know? And then it's whether or not you're
So
going to
then I would
taper
jump.
it or whether it's starting to fade or something.
Or
But you
boxed
know that
off.
You've taken that bulk off in rapid time and you know that it's as even as you can get it. You know, the whole way around the head.
Also, another little quirky thing is that if you did start cutting on the top, not a lot of other barbers do that, you're doing something different. People notice that.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever started cutting the top of my hair before. I'm doing it because it's going to give you a better shape. Shit, this guy knows what he's talking about.
The amount of clients that we get in, that when we cut the top, if we section out the way that Paul sectioned this out just now, and we take a central profile section down the middle for balance, and to establish length, I've had so many clients in my chair that when I've taken that section, they've been like, I don't want a middle parting. Because they instantly think I'm going to part that and style it. You know, they've never had that happen to them before. So when you take that central
Josh
line,
says, yes, you are.
yeah,
You are having a
that's
middle part.
You know, we're going to yeah. But you know, there's so many clients that will
If
come
it
in
worked
and
for
say,
NSYNC, it'll work
if
for
it works,
you.
then that's it. They're going back Street Boys, man. You know. But if that happens, you know, there's so many clients that come into me and say, I've never had that happen before.
Yeah.
And when you explain to them that you're doing that for balance and for precision and a reason to do it, they're then like, holy shit, like. The other guys must not have cared about my hair at all, you know, because they can see the detail that you're putting into that, you know. And honestly, like, I know that it sounds funny because all it is a strip down the middle, but that's probably quite high on client intention, having just done something like that. When you're doing something that they've never had before and it's working for them, they're always going to come back.
Rock the bench.
Yeah.
Again, that's like I was saying earlier about
Don't party down.
showing that you've got an interest in their shape, their head shape, their specific head shape. You're not just doing what you did on the last part, you're adapting it up, you know what I mean? Pretty much. Like, I mean, I could say to Greg, you know, like with that consultation where I'm saying that I can see he's not going to be offended that I tell him he's got flat spots on the side of his head, but he's going to be happy that I'm going to tell him I can fix it. You know, he might not. This might be something he's not noticed before. And again, it's just little things like that that make people think that you are working or tailoring your service to them.
Yeah, going above beyond the
Absolutely,
service, yeah.
absolutely. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, I think we talked about this yesterday. If we're all honest, clients have a good idea of what a good haircut is, but they don't know to the level that we do. Right, and you can spend hours refining something because you think this is not good enough, it's not good enough. They're happy. They're at that point, like with mine, they're sitting there going, oh, would you just stop? I need to leave. I've got
Did you finish already?
Yeah, and I'm still going like, oh no, it's not quite, you know, and they're just going, would you just finish? You know, so the little things about identifying problems they have and you fixing it, that goes a long way to client retention. Okay.
It's kind of like fixing what they see.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's what you might think is a problem with them might not be to them. You know, you really want them to tell you what they do not like about their hair and hone in on it. You know, if you can fix that issue for them, they're gonna love you for it.
I know he doesn't like his brow shades. I can see that he's doing it right there a little bit.
True.
Some clients
are really
Dry cutting.
Well, before that, I'll make sure that I like the shape right here. So I'm not gonna dig too in his beard. I'm just gonna keep it like this. And even though it's not much, it is gonna help it look cleaner.
The wider teeth now be sectional and section quite a lot. Not too much. Do you know? I was saying this earlier.
So now when I come in,
teaching,
it's gonna allow for smoother, and I dry shave, so it's gonna.
You'll just run late all the time, constantly, constantly.
Find the color of the cold matters.
Yeah, it kind of highlights.
Once I find a shape that I like,
and I'm not even nervous anymore. I'm solid with that. Yeah. That's how sharp these are. No, it's just because
once I find a shape I like, then I'll clean all this up, brush this out.
Show you can also cut yourself
you know,
with 5-inch.
Usually I don't use a straight razor, but now I'll use it to just clean it up. I'll come through, clean it up. I hate the hair that's left behind. A lot of people do it. It patches up right here. I always remove
I think
it.
especially when it comes into maybe
So
sides and puckering and stuff like that, puckering them dark hair.
once I clean that up,
White comb, you're going to be able to see so much more.
I'll use my shaver, shave it out, make it really smooth, bald, and then I'll come through and leave a really sharp, crispy line after I do kind of like my detail work, you know, like I just go through the basics and then I do my detail work to polish it. Same thing with the beard. All I'm doing is just creating the shape and the cut right now. Once it's all done, then I'll polish everything and I'll leave them really crispy. I'll drag that white line down from his dry skin, you know what I'm saying? And that's it, pretty much. I'll spend a little bit more time right here. You saw that I used the same steps here. It just didn't blend very well, you know? So I'll go through here and do some detail work, you know what I'm saying?
So I use a comb by the same make, the YS Park comb as well. I use a YS Park 334.
You get YS Park.
Do one of you guys want to fade out the side of the beard? One of y'all.
Are they really expensive? Oh yeah, that's okay.
Come on, man. You cut hair already?
Yeah, but I haven't started school.
You haven't started school yet? School is about to start right now. Come on. Come on, man. Did you pay attention to the steps? What's your name?
Let's go.
All right. All right. So yeah, just like the same steps that I showed you here, we're just gonna follow on there. So you could just start them off. Remember, this is a good reference point for that first one. And then anytime you get stuck,
Blood in
I
this.
don't use any paint or whatever it's called. I keep.
Nobody knows you cut yourself.
No, I don't want to do that. There's not enough cameras in here.
What would you approach me like for like hair like mine? Like curly hair.
What would we use?
Yeah,
Josh.
because over here like now like diva cuts are becoming like a thing where they cut the hair not wet, they cut it dry. And that's
honestly,
they cut it curl by curl.
Honestly,
Curl by curl?
Dry?
Dry, yes.
Because sorry,
I'm interested.
So like right now there's like a curly hair scene in the States.
Yeah.
And it's more cosmetology. So me becoming a barber now, like straight hair you get it, right? But then when it comes to some curly hair clients, if you for me, for example, look how long my hair is. Now, if you cut this, let's say I go to a barber and tell him, hey, cut an inch off. You have to account for shrinkage, because now an inch is going to come to like a quarter inch shrinkage.
Okay.
So now, what I'm trying to steal from the Cosmo world is like cut curly hair like the way they cut it, and it's curl by curl. Like you can section it off and whatever, but you emphasize the natural and the.
How do you find balance doing it curl by curl?
No,
how do you
because you go like you see the shape, the hair starts taking shape.
So you kind of freehand. It's like freehand.
Yeah.
It's like you're visually balancing it. Right. Okay.
I got mine on today.
That's Caesar.
He was it, yeah.
That's Caesar. He's a king. He's a crown.
So I don't even actually section out the middle part because I know that when after I cut the middle part, I'm going to work on the sides in a 90-degree angle. You guys all know what a 90-degree angle is, following the shape of the curve of the head. So I actually just pull.
So that's how you get that little crop top look right there?
Whether I'm pulling here from over here, because either way.
That's how you get the little crop top look? By doing that?
Well, I would dry it like this, and I'm going to go with the round brush and roll it forward.
Oh, okay. Roll forward? Okay.
Probably take off about.
Before you apply the clay.
I'm doing this because I'm filling out.
Oh, so it doesn't lay flat. Creating a little volume.
Where my hair's going to retract to, it's not going to be too short to whatever style I'm trying to take. So, you really want to make sure that in my world and doing women's hair and things, when you're texturizing cutting, you don't texture yet off that. The bang area is going to stop where the comb lifts from the head.
I'm smoothing it now. The bent brush creates the volume, the round brush smooths it
So
off.
when you
Okay?
comb on your
So
head
now
like
that I've
this,
got
where
the
comb
volume
lifts
in it, I'm
off
using
of
the round
head,
brush to smooth it down.
that's where the bang area stops. So that's the part of the hair that I'm going to leave long, or that would be the part of the hair you're going to pull forward here. Does that make sense? You don't want to pull forward hair from over here instead of in the back, you know what I mean? There are reference points, and then the reference point from here to the bang area is going to be roughly about the edge of your eyebrow. So that's the part where you decide, okay, well, do I want to over-direct it and leave it here, or do I want to over-direct it and keep it the same length as everything else on there? I'm not going to leave it long.
Bangs and fringe are the same thing.
Bangs and fringe area, yes, are the same thing. So I took that 1 inch off there. Now I'm going to follow this back all the way to about right here on the crown. This point at the beginning of that round, and then taking that off. Now I notice a lot of times when I'm cutting hair on somebody I've never cut before, I'll find areas where it may be a little uneven, or they did really heavy texturing. So you may find points when you're pulling it up like, okay, you're not cutting off as much in some areas as other areas. So you just really want to pay attention to your guides.
Okay. Sorry, Greg, your first turn.
So now that I'm here,
I'm running.
I am going to, he doesn't have any difficult areas back here, so I'm not too concerned with where his cowlicks are, but just know that you do need to consider those things. And I heard him over here saying, like, when the hair is dry or even wet, you want to kind of comb it and split it and let it lay where it's naturally going to lay, and don't fight against it. Women's hair, we can kind of fight against it and retrain our hair growth patterns, but when you don't have enough hair to hang to establish that new hair growth direction, you're just kind of doing yourself a disservice, and you're going to fight with it every single time. Do this all the way down to where I'm putting this hair
This
and
creates
this way
like
down
such
here
shattered finish, you know.
into my fingers. Now I can see the guide to where Anthony cut to. And
However,
this is my guide
I never
that
do
cut
it
to. So this last little
front
point is going to be my
hairline.
final.
I'll always start slightly further back from the front.
Now I've got this guide that goes
I don't
all the
want
way
to
down.
have too many. I want to be able to control my fringe.
You
and if
could
there's any part where it's going to
part
lift,
this
and you do this,
and cut from your guide
it's just
that's
going
here
to
in the
stick
middle.
straight up.
And just do this
You're
to
taking
the
too
90
much
all
weight
the way
away, and you
down
might
to the side
encourage
here.
any like calyx or
Or
anything like
I
that
kind of like to
to
cross
stick
check
up,
my work
okay?
and pull it all together, and I go off of my middle short point because I over directed and pulled everything in the middle.
Oh, this is a little.
YouTube videos that I've seen Anthony watching and just seeing barbers when they're shear cutting.
Is it a quick pass through?
I see a lot of barbers do this.
I
So
visually
they'll
do
create
it,
a section.
I will
This is-
feel it
you
and
need to
look
make
at it,
sure
and
that
I
you're
will keep
bringing
doing it
from
till
where
it's
this hair
and the
grows
bit I like.
straight up from where it's growing.
So
So pretty even there. A couple hairs I need to clean up. Now, your
Now,
passes
you
and
can
movements with your comb need to be really short.
run it through the top like
because
this,
if you're
right?
cut, you
But
cut
because
here,
it's slightly
and then
denser,
you come back into
it can
here,
be a little bit difficult.
you've missed
You
about
can't
a whole
use your
inch
fingers
of
where my
sectioning
comb is and
that
do
you
it like
need
that
to
as
do.
well. You get a little bit more control.
I just texted. Like, ooh, that's a new.
If you're
That's
using
like
your
some
fingers,
unintended texturizing that you don't want to do because then they
but
end up
you've
with a
got to
haircut that
move the
goes like
blade
this
and your fingers at the
everywhere.
same time.
So
That's
you
how the
want
hair
to,
falls out.
So I did
If you
my
stop, and that's
my
it, game
vertical
over.
guide, I guess you could call it. Now I'm going to go through and do some horizontal
If it
cutting
was
to create a nice
about
even.
that length, I would use
Before
my
the
fingers.
bridal ridge.
At this length, I
This
just
section
use
is
my
now going to just be
Do you
a
guys
wide
use your
section that I'm
thin
going
shears
to
at
create
all?
a flat surface all the way back.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I've not really got a big thing against them. You know, I don't mind them at all.
This is just different.
But you want your
Yeah,
passes in order to
I
stay
just don't think
organized
the
and
hair
make sure that
grows
you
in
are
as
cutting
well when
everything
you use the
efficiently. I would
shears.
say
I just don't think the
quarter of an
finish
inch,
is as
half
good.
inch
I
at
just
the
don't
most.
think
I think half inch.
it's good for
moving
when
back
you
each
leave.
section
The
can
longevity
even
of the
sometimes
haircut
be a
is
little
not
too
there
much,
if you use things.
Move slowly, take
For
your
me,
time.
personally.
You wanna
feathers
be
in there.
consistent.
Yeah, I think this is a bit
So,
more
I'm gonna go back to
bespoke
this crown area
because I'm
and
working on the areas I want to, and it's not a uniform thin.
finish
Because a thinning
connecting these
shear really is
here.
taking out one of every
Sometimes you'll
second
find you only have hair on one
you know,
side
whereas
or on the
I
other.
can be
It's gonna
a little bit
cut
more
that little
erratic.
Makes sense.
section there.
Okay, so we were talking earlier about
Back
the wider
to
part of the
crown.
comb. Here's a really good thing about the white part of this comb.
Now because I don't like to
Alright, so I sectioned everything out. Split into 4 different sections. Like a horseshoe section. And the section going to the back into a triangle. So that I can then work those sections into build this into the top. So cut the top first and establish a bit of a bulk line. Right about here. Now I'm going to style this, I'm going to put some powder in it and really pull it all out and stuff like that. But I'm just going to go with the cut while it's still sitting half natural, just so that you just kind of get an idea for it. So we'd work this bulk line in,
Alright, very good.
and bringing the rest of this up and round into the sides of the head.
Friday fade over there.
I see the Friday fades over there.
Alright, we then connected that in.
I see what's going on here.
And they never quite get it right. So that this is my, you know, you guys will get like Slick Gorilla and all that sort of stuff here, you know. Slick Gorilla's good, like if you can't get this, Slick Gorilla's going to be your next available option. You know, it's kind of like being that Salt Bay guy from like years ago. You're kind of a bit like as you're putting powder into someone's fucking.
Salt Bay?
Alright, yeah. Like remember that fucking guy that was like.
Yeah, the Salt Bay.
All over everybody.
Yeah, he works that sort of fucking. That's kind of what
He
you're
works
doing.
where?
In Dubai.
Dubai, yeah, he's
Yeah,
Because I've seen him serve foods like in on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that.
So what these texture powders do is it creates masses of like bulk and texture in the hair, you know. It kind of almost like doubles a hair follicle, you know. These are a great product for. See if you've got a guy that's losing hair, you got a guy that's going bald. You put some of this in it, man, and ruffle his hair. Because it swells the hair with the follicle, it instantly makes him look like he's got so much more hair. You know, I put this in guys that are going bald and they're like, where did that come from? I've got fucking hair. You know? It's just that. It's not fibres or any of that sort of stuff, you know.
So how much you put in?
Honestly, it depends on the cut, right? Like to my hair, I'm probably only going to put like a little bit in.
Right.
You know, you don't really. It's kind of a less is more thing.
Right.
You know, put in as much as you want to achieve the shape, right? What I would normally do is get it in the hair, get it all down at the roots, mess it all up and bring it in, right? And it's kind of what I'm roughly going to do with this, you know. Like I want to get it like in deep at the root here because I want to keep that up. I'm going to put a little bit in and then I'm just going to grab it and I can like pull all that sort of stuff up and in with it. You know, and it's going to allow everything to like sit. You know, it's always this is a great product for like root lift. You know, if you want it to have that like big root, then you can put this in it. You know, it's going to fire loads and loads of texture. You know, these are great products for just like that really heavy, thick, bulky look that you want for something. You know. And again, like things like this are great because like as you're building this sort of shape out, you can kind of like just like I could bring this all out just now. Like I could put loads of this in, clap his head up to the middle, give him like a mohawk and all that sort of stuff, and it would stick. you know. But realistically with this, all I want to
probably wouldn't make it hold.
Nah, I probably wouldn't that. But all I want to do with this product this time is I just want to accent certain parts of the hair that I want to stick up, you know. So like this little portion that I've got like in here, like I want to get like a little bit into the back and stuff like that because I want that to come out the way. You know, I want that texture powder to work with me and bring all that sort of stuff out. You know, these are great products if you want to accent slight parts of the hair, you know. You want to have these sort of big wings and stuff like that, get some of that in it and bring that out. So it's just going to pull the hair out in little sections, you know. I don't need to cover the head with it, rattle everything through it, then try and pull bits out, because at that point, especially with hair this length, it's going to start matting it, and then I'm going to be fighting against it, and by that point I've got my fingers in it, it's starting to go greasy, you know, I'm picking bits out with a comb and stuff like that. Realistically, I just want like little bits in it, portions like this, where I can just like start really bringing all that up, you know, and then maybe like a little bit in it, like a fringe, you know. But again, I'm really like, I'm not using much of this at all, you know, and it's just the same way that you would have worked it. And realistically, after this, it's just what you want to accent on his hair, you know. It's what you'd like to see out and what you want to get a much nicer shape to it, you know. It's going to sit much nicer and stuff like that as well. It's probably going to kick out more as well, because it doesn't have anything to rest on anymore. It's just going to pop its way right out, you know, and that's kind of what you want from these sorts of bits, you know.
Shape to put in, and I think shape to put in, like for me, I think I do it just without thinking. Sometimes I just put in like the same shape, like my signature shape. Like everyone's got their own way of fading, everyone's got their own style of fading, you know. Like that'll be the same for Al. Like there'll be a fade that you can see in the street and you'll know it's your fade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you have, it's
Definitely.
It's your own stamp on it, man. There's no right way or wrong way of doing it, man. It's your way.
I keep that, you know, because I want to remind myself that but realistically, if someone's starting out, they want to see that, because they want to look at your cut.
I can already see I'm not going to get much of a shadow there, but I can only do my best.
Because I remember you
Just check the balance.
I can do it.
Check the fade. You can look here, it might look good, you can mirror look shit.
Yeah.
I always rely on the mirror. I do the fade and quickly have a look.
Always double check your work.
Always double check your work. Because you guys are here.
The mirror don't lie, your eyes don't lie to you.
Yeah, exactly. So half gone open, and then what we're going to do is close it halfway and go just underneath where it was. This is just going to add an extra level of lock to your face.
Do you think it's from the way you're holding clippers or shears?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just start giving stuff away right now.
When you use your shears, do you
Are those ones?
What up,
No, these are from a company back where I am called Yoy. They're called Yoy Choppers. I would really like hands on them. I still think the best pair of scissors I've ever picked up were the Mamba, the Hanzo Mamba. For me, balance-wise, they're the best set of shears I've ever picked up.
Hanzos?
So even just move these things around. You can
Sometimes it's just rotation too, like moving around.
Range of motion is good. You know, and when we're cutting here, our feet.
You set me up.
Okay,
So they always, sorry, they do the top last. I like the back piece. That's kind of how I am. And for me, I don't like
Oh.
It looks like it don't get no hair.
Shit looks hard. That's a nice taper. That's a beautiful taper. I love the top. The top looks badass.
And they've got, 6 inches of hair length.
Very nice.
I'm either.
Thank you, everybody.
I love it. Oh yeah.
I like
Thank you.
I was taught you need to establish up here first, work your way down, you know?
Moisturizer thing. It's
Easy cut.
Yep, so that looks good. And two, you can alter this. So like, you know, even if you wanted this to be come down more, you can still create that effect, but it's all in the angle of your comb. If you want the shape to come this way, cut it this way. If you want it this way, cut it that way. You know what I mean?
They reopened, but they were fucked up to the previous owners how they did it, and my wife is.
You know, you're pretty good. And yeah, you just like you said, you don't want to comb up a ton of hair in there, because if you have, so say you were to comb in the hair and the comb and there's this much hanging over, you don't want to go cutting that shear over comb. You want it just to be the tips.
You're gonna leave a dent
so
then.
You can see where your guides are from point A to point B. This chair weighs like 500 pounds to turn. Oh, we're pushing against each other now. Like,
Imagine it's just me the whole time.
you know, my chair's
It's a guy sitting in it.
like that, and I feel like I'm being rude every time.
So how's it?
Looks good. Looks really good. Yeah. So then
Overlap each other. Alright. That would have allowed me to build weight into the back. So if I was wanting to have his hair weight here and reduce length at this portion here, if I didn't want to have this as long as this, if I wanted to maintain length here and maintain weight, then I would have been taking a diagonal section.
You guys know, like,
with my knuckles closer to the head and my fingers further out to maintain that length. The same shape, roughly, that Paul was giving us. But when we had a chat about it, and we all had a chat about this, and this is something that we do quite a lot when we're doing cuts in the shop, especially ones that are either like training cuts or any sort of editorial work. We'll all get together and we'll have this chat about it with the client, you know, what they're happy with, what they're not happy with, what they want. Because effectively, like, I don't want to do a cut tonight, but I was saying again earlier on, I probably wouldn't section this like this if I was doing it in the shop in 40 minutes, because I just don't have time. So what I would probably be doing instead of this is I would maintain the horseshoe section that I've got, so this big section that I've got around about it, but I wouldn't have all of this sort of party in the middle. You know, I'd probably just be taking a horseshoe section, combing all of that up into the middle, so it's
Do you take the curls into consideration?
Alright, I wanted to maintain the majority of the length of where scales grow down.
With the couple of short, you don't really need to, man, because I'm not keeping any of this. It's a pattern. Is it a pattern? Well, there you go, man. So when you take it that short anyway, you're not really going to notice the curls.
okay.
My hair's pretty wavy anyway. When it goes this short, it's fairly straight now. Right, so I'm sectioning off just now where the hair lies. So it's pretty much the same approach as Paul done with me, except he's not got any hair there, so we're just going to have to take it in a little tighter. And we're leaving all the length on this side.
If I take a section here, and comb all that back,
what we're going to do
that sort of stuff out of the way.
is take a diagonal forward section,
I take all of this back.
and this is going to start with the weight line.
I've then just got this little.
That's a good ass party.
So I don't have to work in one big sweeping section.
This is slightly better because it's a lot clearer than it was when I did it on Gregor's hair, because the hair is longer. It's
It's
clearer
easier to
and
tell.
easier to see the
It's
section.
easier to tell.
You wouldn't just go 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
And you just keep going from sideways like that?
Yeah, you're taking it diagonally forward and then taking the section back on the previous section. So you can already see the line.
The weight right there.
I'm just going to clip it straight up there with the 2. And that's going to start the weight line for the crop.
Alright. So I've established my first length.
So panels are areas you're working with.
Yeah.
And each one of those areas is a panel.
Yeah. Okay. So I've established my first length.
So you can see underneath there. See the previous.
Yeah. You can see the guideline.
And with the last one, just combing it straight down.
Right. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to bring every other section up to that bulk line. Alright. And I'm going to take the next section.
Yeah, that looks good already.
So you can see the shape.
Yeah.
So now,
Everything back up.
so I put
It's kind of like cross
a
check.
vertical section down there
Yeah.
where the curve of the head is.
What I want to do is
So now
maintain
we're
the
going to
length
start
on the
moving
side.
with the curve of the head. So it's the same story, but we're just changing the
I want to
angle
maintain the
here.
weight.
Yeah,
and
the
the
direction.
If you want
I
to
don't
have a
want
look
to
here.
compromise any of the length at the side. So I'm just bringing
Just
it
take-
up to that point.
Sorry, when we're looking here,
And then my last
just
one.
take the diagonal section
Right up,
down,
everything that he's got at the side.
comb that out,
Everything that he's got at the side.
and you're following this line here.
and onto that section again. Alright. Now with everything coming straight up and onto that section, what then happens is you come all that up, you take that out at 90 degrees on the head, you come all that sort of stuff back down, you're left with all this length.
Then you go up finger width.
Which is why I'm over directing that length backwards.
You want to mirror the same section that you just took. Combing it down again.
What is over directing? So if you're over directing the hair, I'm over directing the hair back.
You're not putting any tension on it either.
Because even you cut the top, and you cut you bring it up here and you cut it, right? You then sweep that back to your next section, taking a little bit of hair from here and sweeping that back, you're over directing that hair, bringing that hair back over. Yeah, okay. You're bringing it back to another point, to another point, to another point, and that's building weight. As you do that, you're building weight into the hair. You know, you're not taking this part up and cutting it, and then taking another section straight, cutting it. You're over directing it.
Because you're taking it out of its area.
Yeah, and you're bringing it into another area. Yeah. You're taking it out of one and you're bringing it into two. You're bringing two into three, three into four. And then to do that, you're building the weight into the cut.
You want to
Right, so you're going to start seeing a shape coming in there.
Guidelines staying equal through the whole hair.
Okay, so with this section
We've
here,
got stationary guidelines.
so saying there,
definitive
lift all this hair up.
That I'm then going to over direct the rest of the hair up to.
Right, so this is where the side part is, so we're still going to use the side part
This
in the
initial
crop.
weight line is staying the same.
So you can see there, that's about as
giving
short
me
as I
the
really want to go. I don't want to take that any shorter. So what I'm doing is I'm combing down all this hair that I'm not going to need. No tension on it. And you keep it 90, so it's coming straight off the head, so there's no graduation. And you just take that off.
And again, it's the same again. I just want to bring everything together.
That's because you're trying to keep the bottom area, right?
Keep the bottom area as long as possible. So when I bring everything else up to it, I'm only cutting off the very edges of it.
So you can already have a look there, you can see
When I drop that back
that.
down, I want to maintain that.
It's already taking the shape.
It is, man. Doesn't take long.
Was this demonstration pre-planned or just on the spot?
No, do you know what, right? Like I said earlier on, initially I had a different idea of what I was wanting to do with the model. I was going to do a completely different cut. But after I've seen his hair, and I've seen those like almost like little tufts he's got on the side, I really want
There's not a lot to come off.
That's that there, that
Just
one
that.
little portion
So
there.
you're basically taking into account the weight line along here.
I'm
just
going to
angling it down with the shape of the head.
You know, so I'm taking the smallest, probably most insignificant aspect of anyone's hair, which is a baby curl, and I'm going to do a whole haircut based on that. Because that's going to be my access point. I want that to be the bit that at the end of the hair when I blow dry it all sort of set. That's the bit that I really want to show off. That's like I'm just going to bring everything back in sections. It kind of works like.
Okay, so with this, I'm going to cut it short and I'm going to follow the shape of the head. Just going to curve round with the shape.
I'm very like picky now because I know everybody can fade down here in SoCal, but it's like to me it's like if you can cut the top of my hair properly, you're my boss. And to this day, no one has truly done it the way I want it to. You know what I mean?
I like the Scotland one, so
yeah. You need to know this. Yeah, but yeah. So,
I want to bring it established. You know, whenever I get comb in underneath that, and my fingers aren't moving at this point. You know, I'm not bringing everything else down. It's then going to travel into the top. This is beginning to build the sides and through this section.
So what length are you going for, like in this top area? Is it similar to like this stationary?
It's going to probably be roundabout similar to that. Yeah. What I'm going to do is once I've taken this section out, I'm then going to.
3 years? 3 years of having long hair, right? Yeah. Right. You just opened up your golden smile right now, bro.
Like he said, like oh, like make this do a whole stage.
So, now that it's all dry, I'm going to go in with the 2 and just remove all the bulk and just go right up to the clipper line here. See the weight line? All around that.
The number 2 you said? Yeah, number 2?
Number 2, mate, yeah. Yeah, always start with number 2.
Next section down. So that section
Lay down all the flat.
So basically what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to do a real quick hot towel shave, show you guys how to clean up the bottom, clean up the sides, and this is the way I do it. So what I'm going to do right now is, normally I line them up first, but since he's already laying back, I'm going to line them up on the bottom because he hasn't got lined up on the bottom yet, alright?
No, but if it's tilted more straight up,
I'm holding that back.
There we go.
Hi, Grego. Nice to meet you.
Like a new man, huh? For sure.
I can't move that.
How close to zero gap do you have those machines?
I have it 0 gapped all the way, bro.
All the way?
Yeah. Like, it's real close. Like, almost to where sometimes there's certain people to leave them red.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Sharp.
Sharp. To me, a trimmer has to be super sharp.
Yeah. You sharp, you 0 gap it yourself?
No, I don't. I used to, I can.
Yeah.
But I have this supply person that comes here, and every time they come, I just give them my trimmer. I tell them, set it for me.
Have it nicely set.
And then they set it for me, or if the blade can't be set, then what I do is I'll just buy a new blade.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna dress them, okay guys? Dress them. And what I like to do when I do a shave, guys, is I always use shave oil. Let me put on some gloves real quick, because when you use shave oil, it's gonna make your hands all greasy, you know what I mean? So it's better to use gloves, I think. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Leave your hands nice and soft, same way. And the reason why I use shave oil, guys, is because shave oil, what does is it's gonna soften all the bristles under there. So if you guys are trying to do hot towel shaves and you're not able to get in there and get it out nice and easy, it's because probably you're not using shave oil. I use the Art of Shaving. It's a little expensive, but it's high-end stuff and it's good. Look at it. Put it in your hands, and all you're gonna do is rub it under here. You can even put it in his beard because it works the same as beard oil. You're gonna apply it on all the spots you're gonna shave. When I do this, guys, I like to massage it into them so they can feel it. You know, like grab onto the thing, massage it into their face, get it into the pores, get it in nice and good. When you get this in there, what this is gonna allow is just gonna allow your blade to just slide nice and easy, nice and easy. Have some hot water running already. I'm just gonna get my brush nice and warm.
We don't need funny ass signs here.
Nice and warm. What I like to use, I have a lot of different flavors, but right now one of my favorites is Crown Shaving. Oh no, it's not Crown Shaving. Crown Shaving, you got a little, put it on your brush. Now you can use hot lather, the hot lather machine too. It's the same thing, but I like to do it like this. And what it does is you're creating a nice little. The more you pat it, the more it's going to come out nice and smooth. See that?
And the lather is warm.
Well, if you get your brush warm, then it'll come out nice and warm. That's why I have the hot water running. I like to turn on the hot water, let it run, that way my brush gets nice and warm. Okay? I apply my hot towel, I apply my lather now, Now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna grab my hot towel. And I use the steamer towel. Get my steamer towel, take all the water out of it. Don't open it till you get to your client, because if you open it, they're gonna cool off right away. If you want it nice and warm on your client, open it up. Make sure you get under the chin and over. All you're leaving is his nose exposed so that he can breathe, okay? Right here, I prep my, usually what I'll do is, if I'm not ready, I'll prep my blade, get it all nice and ready, okay? I leave it on here, that's why I'm checking right here. I'm checking to see if it's cooled down. If you use a steamer towel, the steamer towels cool down pretty fast. If you use a hot towel warmer, they last a little bit longer. But steamer towels come out warmer. So you gotta be careful. When I apply a towel to anybody, I always tell the client, if it's too hot, feel free to take it off. Because you don't want to burn anybody. You know what I mean? You don't want to burn anybody. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on the bottom, guys. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna come down, downstroke, okay? Downstroke first, and then upstroke back on the way. So when you do a shave, you actually want to stretch out your client. If he's not like sitting properly, he might be too far over, or his neck might be too down. You got to stretch his skin. You got to put him in the direction you want him. You can't just, because he doesn't want to bend his nose. I'll put up his neck, I'll put up his chin, you know what I mean? I'm the one that's in charge. You're in charge of your client. When I start off, I'm going to start off right here. It doesn't matter because you want to kind of create a line so you don't have to do the wiggle. You guys know about the wiggle, right? When you do a fade on the side and you're going to do the line, you don't want to come in with a straight razor like this. You want to kind of give it a little wiggle and then start. That's how you create that, so you don't create a shave line. Because if you create a shave line, the shave line is the hardest line to get out. So you want to kind of wiggle it. But right here, it doesn't matter because we kind of want it lined up. So we're just going to come down. Always stretch out the skin, guys. Pull it up. Okay, then I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to do the top up here. I'm going to turn them this way. Same thing, guys. You're in charge. You're in charge. Don't be scared to lift up your client's head. Turn him in the direction you need him to be. Pull out the skin. Whenever you're shaving, you want to pull up in the opposite direction you're coming down. So if you're coming down, you want to pull up. If you're going backstroke, then you want to pull it this way. Okay? Same thing. I'm pulling up the hair. I'm creating my line right there. It's coming down. Guys, if you guys do this to clients, I guarantee you guys, every male should have a hot towel shave. Use that line. I tell that to everybody, bro. I tell, have you ever had a hot towel shave? No, I haven't. Every male in this world should have a hot towel shave at least once in their life. It should be on your bucket list. And they'll be like, oh really? And they might not get it that day, but the next time they're gonna come back and they're gonna ask you for it. And why do you want to do shaves? Can anybody tell me why would you want to do a shave?
More money. More money.
Exactly. More money. Because all of a sudden your $22 ticket turns into a $44 ticket. And what is it? What's the option of the game at the end of the day? To make your tickets as high as possible. That way you take more. If you're working commission, then you want a bigger percentage. If you're working booth rental, then you want to take more money home. So you know, somebody comes in and they want a haircut, then you offer them a haircut and a beard trim. If they're interested in a beard trim, then they might be interested in a shave. Double service, double money, okay? Same thing I'm gonna do up here, guys. Just stretching it out, coming down.
No rest.
Okay, put it back down. I'm going to apply some more shaving cream, okay? Same spots again. I went downstroke, now I'm going to come up upstroke.
We had to leave early.
You know, listen to this, we were in Portland, Oregon, it was hot as fuck. I ate food.
Again, you're in charge. Turn your client in the direction you need it. I'm gonna stretch him out this way. I'm gonna bring this way now, because I'm gonna come up upwards, because you went down. When you go down, you're gonna create a little stubble there. So in order to come back the opposite way, you're gonna take that stubble out. Stretch it out. See how I'm stretching out, pulling the skin down.
Yeah, I didn't say.
I don't know if
in the fridge and
Josh.
Josh, I'm gonna.
All right. Oh,
For that, yeah, for that one, no worries.
Same thing up here on the cheek, guys.
You want me to done your breast?
Same thing up here. I'm gonna pull back the opposite way. If I was coming down, I pull from this side. Now I'm gonna go up, so I'm gonna come this way. Very slowly, because you're gonna feel the stubble. When you go the opposite direction, you're gonna know why you're going the opposite direction. It's all practice, guys. Practice. If it seems impossible, if it seems hard, it's because you just gotta get the reps in. Remember that. Opposite direction, going back the other way.
No.
Well, look at him. He needs to eat.
That's because the beard is broke down. Right?
Throw it down. You want to get it tighter. You got to come the opposite direction back. Okay.
You know,
big like purebred.
Like you don't eat.
Second hot topic.
Yeah, no doubt. All I know is I'm talking shit.
So this service isn't necessarily to line it up more. It's more to like.
Well, this is not a beard trim. This is actually a hot towel shave. Hot towel shave is double the service. If you're just gonna line them up and clean them up, that's a beard trim. There's a difference between a beard trim and a beard shave. Remember that, okay? You're gonna charge more. A beard trim's only half the price. You know what I mean? A beard shave is like a double service. Right? What I like to do is I apply the second hot towel shave, and then I bring out this, and this is what gets them, guys. You guys don't have this. This is what gets them. You come in right here, and all you do is just run it along this chin, or across his chin.
Total relaxation.
Total relaxation. Go on his temple. Look at, rub it on his temple. I've never had somebody say like, "Oh, don't do that to me." No. Matter of fact, they come back because of this. They come back because they know that this service is relaxful. They're all hot. This is just an Oster massager. They're like $75, guys. I'm not even lying. I bought this machine like 5 years ago, and it sat in my cabinet right there for like 3 years. Until finally I pulled it out one day. I'm like, well, let me start using this thing. And man, you win clients over with this little bit, just this little bit extra. All you do is rub it on his chin. All you gotta do is rub your hand on it, on his chin, on his temple. The temples feel amazing, guys. Okay, real quick.
Could I have that and fucking have it, you know? Al, you should line up my beard.
Now I just clean them up, wipe it all down. I apply a little bit of this, a little bit of aftershave lotion.
Is there a difference between the aftershave and aftershave lotion?
The lotion is kind of like a cream, like this. And yeah, it's just a texture. And then aftershave is just basically a liquid. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Always, don't be scared, guys. You know, like, you gotta do this. It's kind of like you gotta massage the face, like especially when you're applying the beard oil, you'll massage it into the face. That way, it gets into the pores. It gets that, and it feels amazing, guys. It feels amazing. Then I apply a little bit of aftershave now. A little bit of smell good, and this is why this is the one that's gonna burn a little bit more. You always tell them. I always like to joke with them like, "Oh man, how did that feel? Oh, that burned. I didn't even feel it. I didn't even feel it."
Tough guys be like, "Oh man, tell me where to sleep, man. Ready to go to sleep."
What I usually do is I'll flip this around, and then I'll come back on this side and finish them off in the neck.
But wait, there's more.
When you guys do a taper, a regular haircut. You guys should always finish it off with hot lather, guys. You should always finish it off with hot lather. You know why? because it feels amazing on your neck.
It really does.
It feels amazing on your neck, guys. You put hot lather on amazing, they're gonna be like, oh, some people are gonna be like, oh shit, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm shaving your neck, bro, you're at a barbershop. If you finish off a haircut with a straight razor on the neck, people will appreciate that. Because a lot of barbers don't do that. A lot of barbers are skipping out on using the razor blade. And that's wrong because it's part of our tradition, it's part of being a barber. If you're not using a straight razor, then you're shorting yourself, guys. You gotta, you know?
Since I first started learning to cut hair, that was the main thing.
Dude, you have to use a straight razor, guys. Try to finish every haircut off with a straight razor. Hot lather on the neck. And I guarantee you people are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna come back just because you're doing that old school feel.
Yeah. It's like it becomes a signature.
That's it. The only people I don't shave on, they don't get a straight razor really is if they ask for a razor fade and they don't want a razor with a straight razor, then I'll go in with the Braun and I'll just finish it off with the Braun and done. You know what I mean? But if they get a taper or a regular, they're always gonna get lather with me. Always. It's just automatic because it's like you said, it's a signature. It's a signature thing of a. I feel that a barber should always finish off with a straight razor. It just makes it look cleaner, makes it look better. And then the very last step is always squirt of smell good.
Improvising.
I mean, a little smell good. Put a little bit of gel for it. And you just finish it off. Quick and simple, guys. I mean, right now I kind of rushed it through. If I was doing this as a service, I'll try to take at least 25, 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
I thought you did.
But yeah, but you actually want to give them a little bit more time. I kind of rushed through it because we're running out of time, but I want to show you guys because if you guys are going to be barbers, guys, it's important you have to use a razor. Trust me, it's gonna be the difference between people you're working at a salon or working at a barbershop. You know what I mean? Real barbershops use straight razor. Yeah. You go to Supercuts and ask for a razor fade, they ain't gonna put no razor on you. Nothing. Nah. You'll be lucky if you get the trimmer. You know what I mean? You're gonna walk out with something, guys.